Hey, I'm Grant. Welcome to Digression Bar 33. I'm joined by
Andrew.
I'm Ellie.
So I guess first thing I want to get away small businesses. I want to move the podcast to come out on Mondays because I always end up doing it on Friday, and I can't get it out in time. So just side note for me, so I'm committing to is it's going to come out on Mondays now instead of Fridays. So that should help my scheduling issues. But anyway,
Should.
we'll see. Because I could just solve it by doing it a week early, but that never works. So I'm hoping this gives me time to cram, basically. If I put it on Monday, I can cram Sunday if I need to. Or because a lot of times it always end up like we're filming Friday or Saturday. And that, after it's supposed to have come out. And that just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's fine for me. I don't care.
yeah, you're just like, oh, it'll come out eventually. Yeah. I've been really bad. I've been behind on all my projects. I have to put out the audio versions. I haven't archived my old ones, so I have a freaking full hard drive. Frustrating.
How big a hard drive?
I think that's a 3 terabyte one. And I don't know if it's that close being filled, but it just sits. Because then I have a 5 terabyte one.
You also have a newer 2 terabyte one, too.
Yeah. I'm going to use that for the cooking stuff, though. So I'm trying to keep that clear. But we'll see. Yeah, that's over there. I have a portable hard drive now, too. So anyway, I want to weave a tale. So the inspiration for this is what we're going to do a, I guess, hypothetical. 3 things you'd want to have to survive on a desert island. And these are things to survive, not like, oh, if you had to pick one book for the rest of your life kind of thing. This is to survive. But generally, other than that, no rules. This idea comes from not just doing hypotheticals, but an old, I guess you'd call it a podcast done by the dude who did Unforgotten Realms.
Yeah.
Do you ever actually sit down and watch them?
These question ones?
Yeah.
Yeah. There were... The ones I remember are The Island, the Zombie Apocalypse. I know there's another one, but I don't remember what it was.
And they're not amazing or anything, but I remember basically the dude ran a show on The Escapist about not D&D. And it was just a little flash animation. I would say it's not amazing by today's standards at all, but it was I don't know, 2008 or something. Yeah. So it was interesting. And I remember doing this, and it just now looking back is kind of ahead of its time because there's so much stuff like that. Yeah. So this isn't a change for the podcast or anything, but I always wanted to do one of those without it being a big deal. So I've been waiting on this until I could get 3 people. And then I was going to do it last night, but last time on 32, but you were sick. And so I just had Jamie.
And you did film?
Yeah. I haven't put it out yet. I'm late. No, you're fine. I just been wanting to do this because it's I want 3 people because I want to have some discussion. It's if it's just me and Jamie or just me and you, it would just be I do this. That makes sense. And you're I do this. Okay. Whereas you want to get some you want to be no, you're stupid, and you want to yell across at the couch, stuff like that. So
you're stupid. I did it.
So we'll see. But I went and I tried to refine those to just watch them for inspiration. And I couldn't do it because he took down his old site and stuff. He's still making content though. He makes.
Oh really?
Yeah, he runs a
D&D in Minecraft.
No, that was another one at the time he did.
Oh.
He runs a custom tabletop. I don't know what you would call a franchise. It's not just a series on his. He has rules he puts out and the whole world and stuff. It's a simplified D&D or something. It's called Unforgotten Realms, or something it's called U Realms because you can't call it Unforgotten Realms. But yeah, so he's still doing stuff. It's cool. It's something. It's I've just always was curious what the dude's up to, but because I always loved the stuff when it's coming out. It is weird to go back and watch that stuff because it's so old and dated, but fun. So, all right, here's how we're going to do it. That's the whole spiel. I don't think we're going to get derailed that much as theirs did. So, what we're going to do
Star Trek Enterprise
is we have 3 things. We're going to cross. I'll say mine. You guys can
debate
whatever you want. Then you can say your third. Ellie says your third. And then I say my second, and we go down that way, okay?
Wait. You start. So you're first.
My third.
You start your third.
Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. I haven't ordered mine.
Start from beginning. What are we doing?
My third item, your third item, Ellie's third item. My second item, your second item, Ellie's second item. Does that make sense?
Are these ranked? I didn't realize these were ranked.
I kind of rank mine. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be. It's if you had to pick just one, that would be your one. If you had to pick just 2, that'd be 2. Let's say that.
Okay.
I was just doing this in my head, or you can do it however you want. But I feel this is a good sign because you're being picky.
Okay.
Desert Island. Yes. Let's say, I don't know, you're on a cruise that is, I don't know, a department store convention. So it's going down. You can grab whatever you want, but only 3 things. Okay, that's our premise. All right. So I'm gonna be that guy, and I'm gonna go for like the easy one. I'm gonna go with hatchet. Did you read that book?
I read.
I read.
I feel like it's the easy one, so I'm gonna claim it.
Well, I had something. I'll let you go.
I want function as a weapon. I thought about
Yeah.
I thought about axe, but I feel like that's a little bit too unwieldy. And I don't want to be carrying that thing around. I don't want to be swimming to the beach with an axe, but a hatchet.
I mean, you can use it as a weapon, but I feel it's not. I feel like that's more of something you would use against another human. I don't think it has much utility of fighting not humans because you need to swing, which means you need to be close. And then because humans are, even though they're moderately fast when they're running in a line, when you get up and close, they're not that agile. But other animals are more agile than that, and like fucking just go at you. Plus, I feel like it's not meaty enough that you would get a very good smack.
What would be your ideal weapon if you had to pick something? Assuming this isn't on your list. Like would it be better if I was going just for the weapon?
Okay.
Could I say mace? Like not like the spray, like an actual medieval mace or like a flail.
Are you talking about
No, that'd be so horrible.
what would be horrible?
Well, because it's super unwieldy. It's not sharp. You have to club something to death.
Are the mace?
No,
or-
it's amazing. How metal is that? I'm sitting on an island. I beat a deer to death with a freaking mace.
Or you die because you can't.
Or what about a glaive? Why not you, or not a glaive?
See, now you're thinking like that.
Flail.
I feel like a flail is more. I like the idea of like a halberd. Yeah, like that. Like a pike.
Okay, I mean, like
That would work.
That would work. Are you talking about this is for animals, not like combat other people?
Well, then it's not a deserted island.
Well, you just said weapons in general, like weapon. You didn't.
But I'm
clarify
gonna
as
live
like,
for the rest of my life. I might have to kill
Okay.
things. I don't know what. Giant crab comes out of the ocean. Gotta kill it.
It probably would be. I would say helper probably, because you've got your good thrusting and slashing.
We'll see if halberd's in your list.
A glaive kind of doesn't really have much of a thrust.
Here's my idea. I want two functions to basically everything. So weapon. Second one is like everything you use a hatchet for. Cutting wood. Yeah. Right? Big thing. Breaking stuff. You could use it as like, I don't know, cutlery. Gotta cut your cut the deer you bludgeon to death. You know. So that's my idea. So that's why I'm not going full on weapon. Like I didn't want to say a knife because that stuff's gonna get dull. But I feel like I could keep the hatchet sharp enough.
Why would a knife be duller than a hatchet?
Because it's got to keep the fine blade, and I got to use it to like cut wood.
You don't have to cut wood necessarily.
Yeah.
That's not my. I do in my strategy.
Okay.
I will get to my strategy of why I'm going to use these things.
Okay.
So yeah, because rest of your life here, assume at least a couple years, right? So I feel like by year one, that knife it's not good. I have knives I've had less than a year. They're terrible.
You have bad knives, though.
I do have bad knives. I got a sharpening stone.
See, now this makes me want to go. So okay, let's go.
No, okay.
Let's go down the line.
Okay, go. Okay, what's yours?
Okay. Well, I'm just saying this one because now
This way, you know Gary Paulson hates you all. That's the author.
That's a stupid book, anyway.
It's kind of full of itself. I think I haven't read it in years, but it kind of is.
What do you mean? What do you mean the book is full of itself?
I feel like my issue. I have the same issue with it that I have with like mystery novels, where it's like all the right situations occur that you would need to have that item for.
And they have it.
Yeah, it's just like yeah, of any item's perfect if you write the situation where you need that item. Yeah, if that makes sense. And to put it around to like mystery novels, like this is not right. I hate mystery novels like Sherlock Holmes because it's like I feel like the idea is you want to be able to solve it yourself, but you can't. They will not give you
Everything.
the clue. You will not give it the hint. Like it's impossible.
Well, because it's like, oh, they like say, oh, and I discovered this, and they're like, oh, okay, now I know.
Yeah, there's the thing. Okay, it's like yeah. So I feel like it's written in such a way where, like, of course the hatchet would solve all of his problems. There's nothing like in that book where like a hatchet couldn't solve it because like that's not the point of the book. Not that the book's like an actual survival guide. It's just a story.
It's about a kid trying to survive after his pilot of his plane dies of a heart attack, and then he crashes it in the forest.
Before we get to it, one of my favorite things what I thought was really interesting is he wrote another book about how he ran the Iditarod, like the Alaskan like snow race. You know that? Okay. And it's like all these challenges.
Like the snow dogs, or
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they bought like Disney or something bought the rights to it, and they made the Snow Dogs movie out of it. And it's just the most random thing because it's like his personal story of like training for the Iditarod and like his interaction with the dogs, and it's just like this unrelated Disney movie that's technically based off of it. It's really weird. But all right, number 3 item for you, Andrew.
Well, it's not. I wouldn't say it's my number 3, but I'm wearing it because it's similar to yours. Mine would be a Bowie knife, like the big Bowie knives with like the point at the end.
Every knife has a point.
But no, but it's like it's kind of like curved. It's really sharp.
Why don't you bring a sword?
Well, okay. The reason why I bring a Bowie knife is because the Bowie knife is very thick,
Okay.
long for a knife, but not completely unwieldy. Like you can easily have it in a sheath.
Why not bring a short sword? That's the same thing.
Well, because you can also use it to cut like vines and like small wood pieces.
you could do that with a sword.
Yeah, but it's not easily. And you would definitely dull that up real fast.
Fine, I'm gonna change my answer to bastard sword. Just so I can. You're gonna be there like you're like sawing your freaking tree. I'm just gonna be like chopping.
So are you changing your hatchet to a bastard sword?
No. Because I'm gonna do a lot of wood chopping with my strategy.
So you're gonna have a bastard sword and a hatchet.
No, I'm just gonna have that. If I'm on an island with you, I'm gonna bring the bastard sword. If I see you're living and you're going and getting your Bowie knife, I'm getting my bastard sword.
Do you have any comment?
No, I don't have any comments.
What I'm learning is I apparently have a strong like preference for medieval weaponry on this island, so that's what I'm learning.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm saying like
I'm still Bowie knife.
Bowie knife. Okay, Ellie, what's your third?
I was gonna bring a machete because I figured
Okay, solid.
I figured that
That's what it is designed for, right?
yeah. Well, you can chop a lot of stuff with it. You can chop a lot of like brush. You can also use it as a knife, but it's also very durable. So it's not gonna break.
I feel dumb now. I feel like that was the obvious answer.
Well, I was torn between a Bowie knife and
I thought a Bowie knife was a really good answer though. Actually,
Bowie knife and hatchet. The only reason why I chose Bowie knife over the hatchet is the fact that Bowie knives can be used more as a thrusting weapon than hatchets.
See, yeah, I feel like
than
with a I feel like at least like a Bowie knife or a machete is a lot easier to kill something with than a hatchet, which I think is important.
But I can make weaponry on the island. I'm just
Out
gonna
of
go make a
what?
bow
What?
and arrow.
How are you gonna make a bow and arrow?
What?
How are you gonna make a bow and arrow?
I'm going to chop down a tree, get some branches. I don't know what I would use for twine. I don't
See, exactly.
I don't know. Something strong. I can make a spear. Boom. What? I can make a spear.
yes. But how are you going to make a spear?
I'm gonna break some wood. I'm gonna make a knife out of a rock.
Okay. And how are you going to fasten the rock to the...
No, I'm gonna make a knife out of a rock, and I'm gonna use that to carve a wooden spear.
Oh, so it's... Okay, so you're not... Okay, so it's just a pointy stick.
Yeah.
So it's not a spear, it's a pointy stick.
Yes.
Okay.
I'd probably make a spear eventually for fishing. Yeah. Using my machete.
Machete, I feel like is a good answer. So yeah, I don't get Bowie knife. I feel like there's better things than a Bowie knife.
No, I think
Unless
a
you're,
Bowie
like, in
knife is better than a hatchet.
Well, it's for more than a weapon. More than a weapon. Like, yes, I get it.
I get it. It's good for chopping wood, but I think it's more important that you're able to kill stuff than chop wood. Because I think that you could just find like brush branches to make fire and stuff. Or you could chop like small wood with a Bowie knife.
No,
Like, you could chop like
I'm
like
going
small
for long
branches.
play. I'm going for like construction. I'm gonna have like a log cabin, and you guys are gonna be sitting in
You're
the freaking
gonna
dirt.
build a log cabin with a small little
No,
hatchet.
My other stuff. I got other stuff.
Okay, fine. Go on. Do your second stuff. Go. I want to hear what it is.
I'm going really tame on these because now I feel judged.
Good.
I'm gonna go. I feel like one good necessity. I'm gonna go. It's canteen. Simple. Something to store water because I feel like that's something you can't get on like an island. Like assuming there might be like a deer, I guess you could use like a bladder or something. But it seems like I'd want that from the start. Something where I can like get clean water, hold it, know it's safe, not be like, oh, this is the pit where I drink from, and I just hope no bird shat.
How do you know it's clean water, though?
I boil it
How are you? Where are you boiling it?
in a fire.
In the canteen.
Are you
As a
boiling?
fireproof canteen.
You're boiling the canteen.
See, I thought about this and I chose to bring something different.
You got a good point there. I don't know. I guess I would say a rock, but I feel like I don't even know if that would work. Like how if you had a rock bowl, how long would that take to heat up? Much less to boil water. I just throw water on the fire and was like, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna scoop it.
In the air.
Yeah.
Okay.
In retrospect, I should have brought I would have brought a tarp. That would have been a good option.
Well, let's wait and like not go further.
No,
into
okay,
other
that's fine.
people's stuff.
Canteen. I'm sticking to it. I got my. I'm gonna go beat a deer to death using my hatchet, and then I'm gonna take a nice swig of water.
And that brings me to my number 2, which is a giant tarp.
That is actually also my number 2 as well.
How big is giant?
It's like as big as you can get.
As big a tarp as I can get.
You can use it for shelter, to collect rainwater.
Will you let me go, please?
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, I know. Like, so my big thing was to collect rainwater, because then it is already clean water, and all you need to do is just make a frame, so you can hold, so the tarp can be in a large basin-like shape. Sorry. So that's a big thing. Also, if it's a large enough tarp, you can cut off different portions and use it in different things like shelter, or you can use it to like essentially make small strings and use those for bows, tying your Bowie knife to a wooden stick, so you essentially have a glaive, or a halberd. That's a thrusting and slashing weapon.
I think it's a bold move to cut your tarp. You wouldn't know this because you don't watch The Office, but did you see the episode of The Office where like Michael goes out to like rough it to prove he can survive? And he immediately cuts off his pants and he's like, God damn it, now I gotta tape these back because he gets cold. That's what I think you're gonna be doing. It's like, man, I have all this rope and no shelter because I cut my tarp up.
Well, I'd say depending on how big the tarp is, you figure out how much of this you can sacrifice.
Okay.
So it's not like, oh, I'm going to cut it into like half right away.
How big of a tarp are we talking?
I actually don't know.
Like how big could you, if you were like, here's a tarp, every tarp size imaginable at tarp store on this cruise ship. You have to grab one and swim to shore with it. It is
Well,
not
swimming
wrapped.
to shore was not a prerequisite.
Yeah, you never said we had to swim.
Well, I feel like there's got to be some semblance of that. Otherwise,
Or
You
like-
could float to shore on a raft.
or why not be like the whole like Lost scenario where the plane crashes like on the beach and you're like already there.
because then that takes away, you have like a shelter. You have the stuff on the plane.
Well,
So I wanted to like find a good way where you're like, oh, I want this thing to survive, but you're not just like, I bring a boat.
okay.
I
well,
bring an RV. Where you're just like, you just like completely do whatever. It's like some idea where you have to carry the thing.
Okay. So I still say the tarp, especially because you can also use the tarp as a sail if you need to.
So is that your stance? You're gonna sail off the island? Like, would that be your strategy?
It depends. I think a large tarp is versatile,
Okay.
so that's why. Like water was the biggest thing, and then everything else are just like, if you need it, the tarp can help with that.
Okay.
Why would you?
Ellie,
bring a
what's your
tarp?
number 2?
My number 2 is a tarp for pretty much the same reasons. You can use it for shelter and to collect rainwater. And I feel like when you first get to the island, shelter would be the biggest thing. And you don't have a lot of time. And a tarp you could build shelter with really quickly. Whereas like a hatchet, you'd have to construct a shelter, and that'd take you like several days. So you'd have to be out at night. What if it rains? You get wet and cold.
Well, I'm hoping to find shelter and then slowly develop a
So how are you
civilization.
going to find shelter? The shelter doesn't exist.
It
You
might.
cannot have a
Where do
civilization
these-
of one person.
Where do these animals that we're killing live?
They live in like a top of a tree. You going to climb a tree?
What animal is in a tree that I can't kill with a hatchet? If it's a squirrel, I'm just gonna throw the hatchet at it.
You're going to aim and kill a squirrel with your hatchet. You have that grit. That
Yeah,
squirrel's going
throw
to jump away.
I got 24 hours a day where I'm doing nothing.
But on
I'm
the
gonna
fir-
throw it at squirrels. I'm gonna get a rock. Doesn't have to hatchet.
You're gonna throw your hatchet, and it's gonna get stuck in the tree up there, and then you have to climb up and get your hatchet.
I can get a rock. I'm gonna throw it at the hatchet.
I don't think you thought this through
You're
very
gonna
well.
break your hatchet real fast, man.
But then I can eat the squirrel. I don't know.
Lose a hatchet, eat a squirrel. Got it.
I want to hear more specifics about how. Would you cut your tarp?
I would not initially cut it, but then as I built my own shelter, I'd probably
What are you
cut it.
building?
Probably would you build some sort of like lean-to using. I'm assuming we're on like a beach island, so it has palm trees.
Yeah.
So we could use like palm, like palms and, to build like a lean-to shelter.
But what if there's already like rocky, like caved areas?
Well, then that's where I would stay. Get like a cave.
Yeah.
I go in, kill the bear with my hatchet.
Yeah. Like
You know,
I'm
easily.
thinking you might not need. I'm not gonna say it because like it depends. Like what is there? Because that probably changes your strategy once you're actually there. But
Should I have picked an island and be like, you are here? You crash land here. We just go on Google Earth and like, see, there's a cave right there. I'd be fine. Should we have done that?
we could have.
We could have. I didn't have enough time to prep for that, but that wouldn't be a good idea. Okay, number one, and I'm going to fight you on this because it's simple and effective. I'm going to bring a shovel. And hear me out. This is the long play. I'm going to farm and I'm going to build. So what I want is some efficient way where, yeah, like gathering small amounts of water, not great with my little canteen and my rock bowl, which is probably what's going to happen. But you know what I can do? I can build a canal. And I'm going to build like here's a reservoir. I don't know, maybe I'll find some clay on the island, do stuff like that. I can get a log cabin. So like, guess what? Year one's going to suck for me. But year like, I don't know, 2 through 70 for you guys, you're going to live in your freaking palm tree lean-to for the rest of your life? No. But I'm going to have like log cabin year 2. And I'm going to just be like, ooh, nice little fireplace. Be perfect.
So what's the point of the shovel?
Moving lots of like dirt and stuff.
To build what?
Anything. So like say like that's would be an easy one where you could build shelter wherever you want.
So you're just making a dirt pile.
Well, like you do the walls and you find something for that. For the top. Wood.
Okay.
Leaves. So like that's a start. And you slowly build it more and more. Or if you want to build like this is be done, but like a road. Something simple like I walk here every day. I'm gonna clear this out. So it's not a big deal. So I don't like if I at some point I'm sure I'm gonna no longer have shoes because I'm here for like 80 years. You know? So I want to have a nice road.
Are we assuming
Progress.
there's no way you can be rescued?
Well, you don't know if you're gonna be rescued. You just
Okay.
know there's no way you can leave. You know, you hope, but it's like by year 2, you're like, I should do something about my life. When you're crying on because it's rainy in your freaking like little tarp hut, and I'm just like over one island over, you can see me with my little log cabin. It's like smoke coming out of it, just like really nice.
I think you're overestimating your ability to survive initially.
Oh, I think
what
does the shovel have to do with a log cabin?
I can cut it with my hatchet to the trees. I'm gonna compact it with using dirt and stuff to like form the walls, and I'm gonna like
Okay.
inset it into the ground. Does that make sense? So it's like half.
So
buried.
like one of the walls or two of the walls are covered by
Like all of
dirt.
them. So it's like I want only half the cabin to be sticking out of the ground, and the other half I like walk down.
So you're making this multi-tiered.
No, it's just a log cabin that's like sunken. So like the floor is like I don't know 6 feet underground.
Okay, so you have one staircase.
I can make a second with my shovel. But it's the idea of just making things.
Yeah.
So like, oh, I have firewood. I'm going to make an enclosure for my firewood. I want to make a fire pit that's good and like usable. And it's all based around moving wood and moving dirt. And that's my basis on construction and improvement. That's what I'm going for. Because I feel like once I have that, then it's just like time. You know, I can build the rest. You know, if I
You
need
can build like a freaking shovel.
I feel like that would be annoying though. Like, how would you build like a good shovel? Like, you could make it work,
Right.
but if you have to like dig out like a 6 foot deep hole, you would want something like good, because that would affect like probably days of difference of work. I would think versus like a good sharp shovel. Plus, I could kill a freaking thing with a shovel. I could kill fish with a shovel. I could kill a squirrel with a shovel. It's basically a spear. I could throw that up in the tree,
There's
knock down the hatchet.
I don't remember if it's the U.S. military or if it's Chinese military, but they have like a shovel that's like multi-tiered. Like it folds, part of it folds. Like it's got a saw, a serrated area for sawing, and a bunch of other stuff. So in hindsight, if that was possible to have, I would have that. But I assume we're not going to have access to something a military provides.
Yeah. There was I don't know, did you ever read World War Z? That was a big part of that is they had a collapsible shovel called like the lobotomizer where it's like shovel / saw / kill a zombie in the head with it.
I remember it's a thing. I haven't read the book though.
It's not in the movie.
Well, no, a lot of stuff in the movie were in the books, and a lot of stuff in the movie or books weren't in the movie.
What's your number one? What's better than a tarp? Blow my mind.
Magnifying glass. For
Okay.
for helping with fires. Plus, can be used as a reflective surface for signaling passing by vessels.
How do you do that? How are you gonna with a magnifying glass? Yeah. So if something's over there, how do you just reflect?
Yeah.
I don't think that would work well. Why not bring a mirror? That would reflect better.
Because the whole point is that it's easier for making fires.
But you could make like a concave mirror or convex, whatever it is, so it reflects 100% of light. Bring it. That could be your thing.
That wouldn't work though.
Why not?
Because if the sun's up there and it's like that, you can only aim it high.
That's fine. You could just like put the fire over here. Okay, it's on fire now. It's like Boy Scouts where you like start in your hands and then you put it in the main fire.
I don't think so.
It's not an issue at all.
I'm still going with my magnifying glass.
I don't see. I'm telling you, you're gonna be like rolled up in a tarp on the beach, and you're just gonna be like looking at crabs because that's all you got to do. Whereas like I'm gonna have this whole thing. I'm gonna build myself like a life-size chessboard because why not? I got nothing to do all day, and I could just play. Like...
Plus, the point of a convex mirror or a concave mirror, the ones that's bold, all the light's going in a smaller area, but it's not focused. The whole point of magnifying glass is you have that focused little spot, that intense radiation. And if you've got nice tinder or kindling,
but you could do that with the mirror.
I don't think. Do you want to back me up here, or
I do think a magnifying glass would be easier to do it with.
Well, I know, but then you could have a metal bowl that's reflective. What are you boiling water in? You're only going to drink rainwater?
So what can we go?
So yeah, go.
Well,
Ellie, what's
okay,
yours?
so
Pull our mind.
mine weren't ranked, but my third one or first one was to bring like pots or a pot.
A pot. Okay.
So you could boil water, and because I feel like a lot of the stuff you're going to cook, you're going to have to boil it to get rid of contaminants. And I feel like being able to eat is really important.
How are you going to start your fire?
I would figure I'd just have to do it with friction and like a rock or my machete. You can like your machete against a rock can create like a spark.
like flint and steel?
Yeah. But I feel like I thought about bringing something to start. How are you going to start a fire, mister?
I can do it. I can actually. I've done it with sticks.
Well,
I have that for proof. I can actually do that.
I thought about bringing something for fire.
How long does it take for you to do that?
It takes a while. It's a pain.
is,
You need like
like-
shoelaces and all that. It's a pain. But you could do it because you have nothing to do all day.
Yeah. I just didn't want to bring anything that would I thought about bringing flint and steel, but then eventually you run out. And then what do you do?
Well, the steel,
You don't know.
Or
the flints you can find on the island probably.
Probably,
The
okay.
steel's the one thing you don't want to lose.
Yeah.
You're not gonna run out of that though.
But if you lose it or it,
Well, what if you lose your machete? I feel like
I
I
feel
would
like
say lose your
machetes
tarp,
are
but you're
harder
not
to
gonna lose that
lose though. You'd carry your machete on you at all times.
yeah, I carry my hatchet on me at all times.
So yeah, I'd bring pots or a pot.
A pot. That's a bold. I feel like that's a bold one to say a pot.
Yeah.
So you run through the gun store, run past.
Well, you run out of
the knife
guns.
store,
You
you're
run
like,
out of ammo.
This pot.
Yeah.
Well, I don't
think
know.
being able to eat is the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why.
I think it'd be useful to have a gun. Like in the case there was one thing on the island you needed to kill. Like there's a bear, and you just the bear needs to die at some point. Something like that would be.
But what if you're like you said, if you're swimming with this, how are you going to keep your gun dry?
I'm not. I didn't choose gun. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, I don't.
Get a
think
spear
I don't,
gun.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's my answer.
Okay. See, how are you going to handle your water? You collect rainwater in your one tarp, or I guess you cut it for tarps.
What happens if it doesn't rain for several days?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully you don't use all your water at once, so you just
What if it
you make a tank.
evaporates?
Yeah. You don't. How are you going to store it?
How are you going to store water?
In my canteen.
That's only one canteen though.
That's why I'm going to dig a moat, and I'm going to store water in there.
Fresh water.
Yes. Not straight to the dirt, but my plan would be then to either find again rock bowls, but I would love it if I could find really dense sand or clay if you just dig down enough where you can just make a hard bowl where it's not ideal, but if it's hard enough where the water's not going to leak out too crazily, and then you just cover that. And that's
with what?
Whatever I have, wood, something so it's not open air.
Okay.
Like mosquitoes and shit get in, all that, something like that to cover it. Just anything. It could be in my house, probably.
When you have a tarp, and you have all the water that collects into it. Do you know what you can do to cover it?
What?
Lay the other part of the tarp over it.
See, but then how are you going to drink your water?
You don't leave it there.
Where do you put it? You just put it into other tarps.
No, I'm saying so you have. I'm talking about if you have it, it's like it's uncovered, and then when you're worried about evaporating too much or things in it, you just cover it up with the other part of the tarp because you're not going to be using. Like again, I'm not using the entire tarp on the one thing of water.
I think you're going to be wrapped in your tarp on the beach. It's cold. You're surrounded by a bunch of like tarp water balloons that you're storing your water in.
Plus,
and
you can also use part of the tarp to make a water bladder.
That's what I'm saying, but like that seems just like so annoying. So
How is that more annoying?
So you just have a bunch of like water.
Where are
balloons.
you getting your water on this island?
Rainwater.
Where are you collecting this rainwater?
I'm gonna build something.
But what were you going to collect it to start out with?
Yeah.
Before you were able to build.
Canteen. Whatever. That'd be super dependent on the geography. I feel
But
like
your
I could find
canteen's
something.
this big. Like, that's not going to be enough water to, like, have you survive.
Yeah, that canteen, depending on how hot it is, that might last you a day if you're lucky.
I could dig down, find some groundwater.
On an island, you might not be able to find that.
Well, no, if
a
you're
good
if
point,
you're on,
actually, yeah.
well, yeah, it's probably going to be saltwater if you're on an island, unless it's a big island. Like, how big an island are we talking about here?
Big enough that you can like explore it. I feel like it's not like I'm on an island. I see the other end of it from here.
I was
It's not
thinking,
the
like,
SpongeBob Island.
the
that's the thing.
size of the island in Pirates of the Caribbean 2.
That's,
one's in two?
that's too small.
I was thinking of- I was thinking-
two. That one. Yeah.
I was thinking of the one in one where
Yeah.
Jack gets stranded on.
Yeah,
Like, that
not-
size where you could walk around it, but it's like there's enough to it.
No, there's not enough there for you.
Yeah, there's not enough there. Because there's no animals there, probably, really.
They're all inbred.
But you could
retarded.
do fish.
What?
Yeah,
See,
you do fish.
My
you
long
can
term,
do
I would
fish.
like grow fish and stuff. Like if I could find.
You would farm fish.
Yes,
How would you keep them in a centralized area?
I would put them. I dig another reservoir.
And then, okay, so then how do you catch your fish?
It depends on how much access I have to like fish in the ocean. It's like if they're not coming up to shore, then that's difficult.
Oh, okay, but the thing is, okay, so there's
I feel like
fish.
you can build a trap. You could build a trap where the fish can like get in but not out. It's in Hatchet. He does that. It's a thing, and he just like leaves, and eventually fish get stuck in there. It's one of the things where I feel like I could figure that out.
I don't remember this. Is it a cage?
I don't remember. I'd have to actually look again. There's some like way it's constructed where I know they can only get in one way, or they just like aren't smart enough to get out. If that makes sense. I don't remember what it was personally though, or maybe it was like some like a waterfall thing, where it's just like the fish get stuck in here, but only or something like that. I'd have to read the book, but I know it is a thing you can do. So again, it's like really
Right.
dependent on like
Okay,
what
but
the
you
fish
need-
are, or do I have to like go physically grab a fish from the ocean and be like, "You're coming with me," and like chuck them in the fucking water thing and back in my house?
I have a very strong opinion that you would not be able to catch it and hold on to it.
Okay, counterpoint then. Counterpoint. How are you killing an animal? You can't look at gore. You're gonna throw up every time you kill an animal.
Nah, probably not. I'm okay with that. Like I cook enough that
How are you gonna get ahead when every time you eat, you throw up your last meal?
I'm not going to. The only problem is if I start bleeding. That's the problem.
Yeah,
That's
but-
when I have a problem.
So yeah, you better be careful with that giant sharp Bowie knife.
You're
Should've
damn right.
Should have gotten some safety scissors. Then you could just like cut your tarp.
No, I'm going. Fuck that. The Bowie knife is big enough that you're not gonna have like you're gonna be really trying to like fuck yourself with it. Like it's got like they usually have like knuckle guards that you wrap around, so it's not like you're not even like touching the blade at all, and you got to be real special to put your hand on the other end.
So do you have like what's it called? Brass knuckles on your Bowie knife too?
If I could.
Yeah, just gonna go up to deer and just like deck it and then stab it in the throat. I don't know. I don't think there's deer on islands, but I don't know what other animal would be like that. What if it's like lost? What if there's a polar bear on the island? What you gonna do?
Run away and stay away from it.
But you're like the only other thing worth eating on the island.
Well,
It's coming after
I
you.
can't fight a polar bear.
What? Well, what else are you gonna do? You're stuck on an island with it.
Well, if I want to live, I'm not gonna fight it. Maybe you could trap it somewhere.
Climb a tree.
Oh, you could dig a pit. Oh wait, no, you can't because you don't have a shovel.
You just dig a pit without a shovel. It'll take you a long time.
Well,
Yeah,
wait,
you just gotta
wait,
survive the bear till then.
What's the point
Who's gonna
of
survive now?
what's the point of the pit?
To trap the bear in it. Like the bear falls.
So this is gonna be at minimum probably an 8-foot hole deep.
Yes.
And then however wide you want it, so probably moderately large. How do you trap the bear without falling in yourself?
I'm gonna put it around my house because I'm gonna want it in case some other bear shows up. Because in theory, a bear had parents.
Are you talking a hole or like a moat?
Well, at least one hole to kill the bear, in case
I
he
don't
comes
think
after
the
me.
bear is gonna fall for the hole.
Well, I don't need him to fall in the hole. I need it as a defense in case he does come for me. I'm not
Okay,
gonna be like,
if it's
hey
enough
bear,
to
come on.
If it's enough to stop the bear from getting to you, you can't get out.
I can dig my way out. I'm smarter than a bear. I don't even necessarily.
If you're in the hole, the bear's going to come in the hole. That's the problem.
No, I have my. If I'm in the hole, I have my shovel. I can get out.
Okay, if the bear sees you in the hole, the bear goes in the hole.
Well, I'm not digging the hole while he's charging at me.
How are you going to evade the bear long enough to build this hole?
How about you? What are you gonna do?
I'm
If it
assuming that there's not a
hypothetically
bear on an island.
climb a tree.
Bear can climb tree. It's a polar bear. It can swim, so it's gonna find you in the ocean. So
It's a good thing I was going to swim in the ocean then.
yeah, you're swimming from the ocean. Okay, island's over there. In between you and the island, polar bear. What you doing?
This is a weird hypothetical.
It's happening right now. It's barreling at you like you're a penguin. Just
I'm dying.
Barreling after you.
yes.
Okay. If it's, I don't know. Okay, so is it dropped or is it on the island originally?
Yes, it's on the island. For some reason, there's a bear here.
Okay. In that case, it's probably not waiting for me to swim up, right?
It's coming at you
Why is it coming at me?
because it's hungry. It ate everything else on that island, and you're like, "Hey, food." It's coming for you and all the other like dead bodies around you from the cruise
Okay,
ship.
so,
Apparently,
so how far away from the island are we?
Let's say 300 feet.
That's freaking close. But
But there's a bear between you. Yeah.
I don't think the bear will swim that far out.
Okay, so
Swim around.
it would just go to shore and it's looking at you.
I get a straw from one of the things floating around, and then I breathe. It's
Okay,
going
so
in the water.
you're gonna throw away the tarp for a straw or what? What is the straw your thing now?
Well, if there's other bodies in the ship this class, I'm sure there's some small straw-like object around that I can just grab.
So this is actually
I
gonna
can
be,
grab a pen.
you do that. I would love to see this. This is a crazy hypothetical, but it's a potential thing where if you have like it could happen. 90% chance, probably not a bear on that island, but if there is, you might want to be prepared for it.
What do you have with you to survive this bear?
I have a hatchet.
My
Hatchet and a
machete has
shovel.
a
I have twice
way,
the weaponry.
way better chance of
Hit, poke.
killing
Hit,
that bear
hit,
than your
poke.
hatchet.
Yeah.
You're gonna put the shovel in its mouth.
Shovels are heavy. I don't think you're going to be able to fight with it as well as you think.
Well, the bear's in water. It's heavy. It's not gonna be a fight that well either. We're on equal.
Why is the
playground.
bear in the water? I thought it was.
The
Yeah,
problem
that
is
was chasing for me.
The shovel's going to have a lot of resistance in the water, so you have to
Yeah.
use
So is the
it.
bear. Bear's got. Oh, he can only bite me in the water. He's not gonna claw me.
Oh,
I don't know.
yes, he will.
I don't know if polar bears can do that. I assume they're
Plus,
pretty
they can
agile.
grab you.
Yeah.
They'll grab you, and then they'll... No. No.
What I would do is I would try to make a wooden spear as quickly as I could, a long wooden spear.
Okay.
And that's what I would try to use to fight it. I mean, it probably wouldn't work very well, but I think that would be my best option, along with my machete. But I'd try with the spear first so I can keep my distance.
Yep.
Distance is important with a bear.
Okay. This one reminds me of is I don't know if you remember this, Ellie, but we used to have this old Game Boy game called like Survivor or some shit like that, and it was the best. It was literally like this, where it's like cruise ship crash, whatever, and you're just like a kid, and it's just like go live on this island, and its big thing is like you could just combine random shit. So it's like I want to combine like 2 sticks and a rope. It's like you made a jump rope. It's like oh cool, and you can just use it. It's useless, but it's like you can do it because you might do that on a dumb island. So you just like try random stuff like, oh cool, I made an arrow. Now I have bows and arrows. Or you go like build a hut, and now I have a hut now. I have a place to leave my shit. And that was a big deal. And it was like you had 100 days to like get off the island and stuff. It was really good.
You had to survive 100 days and then you get off, or you had to figure out how to get off by 100 days.
Even if you get off by 100 days, it just assumes you were there forever. The game ends.
Okay.
So, because the point was you had to have like momentum to get off. So, and in the game there was an out. There was a ship on the island if you got further enough in, and you could take that off, I believe. But other than that, it was a great game. Like it was something where you could totally play because for the most part you just like just mess around. Like, oh cool, I found a new area. There's like a tree here that has like berries. So now I like every day I go there pick some berries.
Speaking
it was really
of berries,
cool.
I want to go back to your whole farming thing. How the fuck are you going to farm?
Well, it depends on what there is there, right? I feel like you could farm. There's got to be some kind of plant that's worth growing on that island.
And
Or
consuming. Okay. Even if there is, you need to figure out how you reproduce that plant.
I feel like that'd be fairly obvious. Like any fruit would be obvious. Like if something that I eat would be obvious.
Okay. So are you talking about like bananas or...
Yeah, I assume there's got to be some
Apples.
kind of like nuts or like I would think like berries, like small fruits. I don't think it's like it'd be amazing if like a watermelon grew, but I assume it's like very small, like little compact fruits would be the kind of stuff you find.
Okay.
Like a banana, but like small bananas.
So are you just going to be sampling all these different berries?
That was gonna be my next question. Would you do that? I feel like I would. Like the chance of it being poisonous, I think is unlikely. Like you might get sick, but I don't think it's gonna be like poisoned. I was gonna go the next step further. The question like, what kind of stuff would you try? Because like, if you came across a potato, would you eat it? No. If you didn't know what it was, you wouldn't know. But would you like try to eat like a root? Because think about it, like if you had like we're sitting there, you're hungry. It's like this plant's all over. If I could figure out a way to eat it,
Maybe I would look at the squirrels or like the other animals and see what they eat.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, how would you even know? Like if it doesn't make you sick, how do you know if it's a good food or not?
You mean like if you...
Like if you discovered cabbage, you're like, I can eat this cabbage and I'm not sick. But is it actually? How do you know it's actually like food? Like it has calories. You just know you chew it up and it can safely pass through your system. But how do you know that's doing you any good? You know, like that's I think a weird hypothetical there. Like yes, I can eat this thing. Like you could eat nuts, but maybe for all you know, you're getting 0 calories and you're wasting a ton of your time because it just passes.
I'm pretty sure you figure it out by when you eat it. Do you, in an hour or two, do you still feel like you have more energy than you had prior? Because you you eat something and like someone's like, oh yeah, I feel kind of full, but you might not necessarily get anything from it really. And then in a little bit, you're going to feel hungry again because you're not really getting anything worth shit. But if you eat it and you wait a little bit and you do not feel as hungry, that's probably a sign there's some nutritional value to it.
Okay. So are you eating random fruits? Is that very little chance you recognize any fruit on the island? You might know like this is a banana, but who knows what's up with that banana?
It depends. I would probably watch for the indigenous life forms to eat things.
Okay. I'm saying I would farm
Plus
those
fish.
things. I feel like you got to farm because like you got to get ahead somehow. That's the one way you can.
I mean, I might consider that farming. But I'm pretty sure it's just like, I'm just going to plant some berries.
Well, I'm talking about like again, you're here for your life. Like yeah.
So
year
I'm-
one, it's like I have a bush.
I feel like that's more gardening than farming.
Well, eventually it goes. Have you ever play Don't Starve?
No.
No, oh, it's totally like that where it's like I got some berries, I grew one bush, but then you're like 50 days in, it's like this is my plantation over here of like 50 berry bushes, and this is the berry picking day, and you just go do that for like all day night. It's a thing. That's a good game. I haven't played in a while, but
It's not like the really like Tim Burton-y
yes,
style
it's
game.
that one. And that game's also hard when you don't know what you're doing. Like there's so many
I'm
systems
sure.
that are just like I'm gonna kill you because it's got the whole combat layered on, and your character can go like insane. So you'll just be like doing whatever. It's like, oh hey, fire demon showed up, deal with that, and it's like all I got is a spear.
Why is there a fire demon?
Because you're not actually like on an island. You were like lost a wager with like a dude who's like, it's like kind of a Dell went down Georgia situation, and you have to survive. So like there's creatures and stuff there that are like not like corporeal and stuff. So
So how do you fight a non-corporeal being?
there's ways. Like there's like I know I don't go into this because I haven't played this game in years. But like, there's one where it's like you can only hurt it if you're insane. So like, there's this window where it's like as you become more insane, it will show up, but it's invincible. So you have to go more insane to kill it. And it's an interesting little mechanic. I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff like that. You'll see. Or you just get like magical items that can do it. It's like D&D where it's like, yeah, like the spirit goes through it. But you know, silver, that works.
Okay.
So are you eating the fruit or not? No.
It
Yes.
depends. Like again, I would be up for experimentation, but after careful observation.
How about you?
I would say the same thing.
Same thing? I don't know. I feel like I would go for it. I feel like it very low chance of being poisoned. I mean, I'm not being like, well, I have this good fish and the random berries. I'm going for the random berries. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying I don't think I'd be that. I think it's unlikely that it's actually poisonous. You know? I think I'd be almost more scared of me messing up like meat and trying to store that at all than I would like some random veggie.
I don't know though. Like if you think about, maybe it's not poisonous, but it might make you sick. Like, would you go out and what if you just went out right now and you ate a bunch of leaves? Like that probably would make you kind of sick.
Well, that was my question. That was why I was asking. It's like, how do you know the nutritional value? Because maybe you can eat leaves. Like, what's different between lettuce and a leaf? I don't actually know, but there is clearly a difference.
Yeah.
All I know is like water. Because you don't really digest lettuce, do you?
Yeah, I think you do.
I thought it just
Yeah.
goes through as like roughage, mainly. Like,
No,
you don't get
there are
it's a-
vitamins stuff
Yeah.
in them too.
And is that not in a leaf? I think it would just be really
I think
inefficient.
leaves
They
are
can't-
just more
yeah.
rough and stuff.
I'm sure there have to be some vitamins in them, but it's also where usually like the glucose is processed.
Mm-hmm.
The photosynthesis.
Okay.
But I know there are leaves that aren't very healthy for you that do make you sick. So that would be a concern. I don't know enough to say which ones.
See, I'm surprised no one said like bring like information.
I thought about that.
Yeah, like a survival guide. Like if
I-
that would
I
like,
thought
it's a
about
trade-off, but that could be huge.
See, I thought about that, but then I was thinking that a lot of that stuff, like it would be good in the beginning, but after a while it wouldn't be as useful. And I'd rather bring something that would be useful for me in the long term. Plus, a lot of that stuff, it's like, oh, if you get sick, you can eat this certain plant. But like, how do you know that plant's on the island? Or if you get sick, you're kind of probably already screwed anyway.
Well, the thing, like, yeah, because I feel like, well, how would you get sick? It would have to be something like you ate something bad, or you're like infected,
Yeah.
like stuff you can't really cure.
Yeah.
Like it's not like you're going to get the flu, because like unless these indigenous life happened,
Or
to
you have-
be contaminated,
Or you have a disorder you didn't know you had.
You could get pneumonia, probably.
Yeah, that's true. That would just suck though. It's like you're on an island, also you have cancer. I guess
Yeah.
you wouldn't know. You would just like feel bad after a while.
And then you would start coughing up blood, probably.
Yeah, well, it's probably because of leaves I'm eating. You know? Again, like I feel like the biggest factor is that you just have nothing to do all day, so you would just try stuff.
I
Like,
don't
I'm
think.
gonna
I
eat
think
this
that's
tonight.
opposite. I think you would have so much you'd have to do. Like you'd have to when you first get to the island, you need to start a fire, which would take a time. Start boiling water, start gathering food, start making shelter, and every single day you'd have to upkeep your shelter. You'd have to get new food. You'd have to maintain your fire. You'd have to make improvements. So you'd have so much stuff to do every single day. I think you would have too much
Yeah.
to do.
It's like slow and methodical. It's like, have you ever watched the Primitive Tech guy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Primitive tech.
whatever. I don't know his actual channel name. The dude just like lives like as a caveman. Like he, I guess, just bought some land after it got big, and he just goes out and is like, okay, all I have is what's in this forest. I'm just gonna build stuff, and he just starts, and he just gets like this progression, like almost like through history, where it's like I built a spear. I don't know if he actually kills animals or anything, but like I'm farming, and then he's like, oh, I'm gonna make a hut. So he goes and makes a hut, and he makes all these like little devices. Really interesting. Like he has like a river by there. And he
So
has,
does he live there? Is that just his life, or are you like, I'm going to be out here for like a week, and then go back do other stuff? I'll come back and pick up where I started.
It's his hobby. So like, yeah, he goes home
Yeah,
after
okay.
a while, but he'll go out there for like 8 hours on a Saturday and just work. But he doesn't bring anything from his actual life. But it's really cool. He makes a bunch of cool stuff. Like I know he made I don't know what it's called, but it was basically like a hammer powered by the river. So it just like pools water, and the water gets big. It'll like lift this arm, and then the water pours out, and then the arm slams down and stuff. So he would like just like set that up and like leave for a week, and he'd come back and like he was able to drill like holes with rocks and stuff. And he's like, cool, I have this now. And he would go like build stuff.
I don't remember what the name of that technique is of filling with water. Like it usually has to be like bamboo or some other cylindrical object that you have hollowed out.
Mm-hmm. Like a pot.
A really tall pot.
Or a tarp.
But the problem is if it's got to be a tall thing, because in order for it to smack with anything, it has to be long, because you need to have a good moment arm.
Mm-hmm. See, what I'm going to do is, you don't know, maybe this is a long con. What if you're going to go sailing in D&D and you're going to crash on an island and you're going to find 3 things, and I'm just going to give you all the situations. There's going to be a bear on that island. Of course, you're just going to be like, I breathe my acid breath because it's D&D. But
yeah, I was going to say, I think I'm set. I'm also a big dragon man. I could probably just like bite it too.
Yeah, it's scared of me.
Yeah.
So,
fuck that bear.
Fuck that bear.
I smash it with my shield.
That's only if you're a druid can you do that. Shapeshift.
No comment.
That would seem like that'd be a fun campaign. Just like you're crashed. Pick your classes. Go. Just play. And you're like, what do you? I make a fire. Because like, do you know what actually like Breath of the Wild put me in the mood for? Is I want to see like an actual like fantasy survival game. Because Breath of the Wild has a bunch of cool stuff in it. Like if you go up the cold mountain, you're fine if you have a fire sword. Or like whenever I need to make a bonfire, it's like wood, fire sword. It's like that's kind of cool having those elements. Like you don't see that in other survival games. So I almost want that now. I feel like that'd be a fun campaign in D&D. Just like here's your skills go. So it's like finally our cleric learned like conjure food and water. Then you're like, boom, life's easy at that point.
Yeah. If you want a good survival game, Ark Survival Evolved is probably an interesting one, because it starts out where you're like, think of it like kind of starts out like Minecraft, where like you just start out, you have nothing, and you like punch stuff to get the materials and then build things from there. You have crafting station, whatever. But it's big. It's also like supposed to be like big multiplayer. So like you have servers, and I don't know. I've only played it local on my own thing, and it was back when it was in like alpha or whatever.
Yeah.
But
it's the one with dinosaurs though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs, like you can like beat the shit out of them to the point where like they're unconscious, and then you feed them stuff so that they'll eventually become your pet. But that's like a challenge. So if you're gonna do that, you actually like you can't really do it by yourself. You know what, you're like, okay, you're grabbing the food, you're going to feed it, you're gonna go over here, and then you're gonna like cycle out, like doing the shit. And I don't know, like, because like heat is a thing, cold is a thing, so like you have to make different clothings to help survive the things.
Do you like survival games generally? Either of you?
I think they're kind of fun sometimes.
They're okay.
Okay.
I'm indifferent.
The thing is, I like that challenge, but I feel like it's so hard to get right. Especially one where you have like a good progress, where it's useful the entire time, if that makes sense. Like the systems are fun the entire time. Because a lot of them just ends up with like, a bunch of really dumb upkeep, if that makes sense. Where it's like, I got to stop all the time to go like have a snack. Where it's like, I was actually...
hunger's the thing in that too.
Yeah. Like I was really annoyed that Fallout 4 didn't have a better survival mode. Because I really wanted that, but that has no progression in terms of like improving your life, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be like, oh, it's perfect. Like the settlement mechanic is going to be so fun. You could actually like solve problems. Like, oh, I keep getting attacked from the north, so I'm going to build reinforcements over there. Like I wanted that. And reality was, oh, I spend all day just carrying stuff back to my base. That was it. Because like there was no faster travel options. I mean, there is, but they're super expensive. Like you have like those 8 grenades you get with the helicopter, and that's it. Really, so. And it got dumb. Or it got to the point where it was like unrealistic, where it's like you would just swim everywhere because swimming's faster and there's no enemies that can hurt you in the water. Because like if you're just like dead in the river, the enemies can't hurt you. So it was just like, well, this is dumb. So I quit. So I feel like I've been craving one. Like Breath of the Wild like, kind of scratched that itch, and that's why I told you like Breath of the Wild's more fun when you're like low level. Like when you have like 3 hearts and like no stamina, I feel like that's so much more fun. Because then you have to really use everything you find. Versus, oh, I just put on my climbing gear on my triple speed potion, and I was like,
I don't know. I like getting to the point where you're like, really, you have all the stuff you need. Like, oh yeah, because I got this, or like in like a hunt for those things. I feel like it's a fun part.
I wish, I guess it needs more progress overall. So I feel like it needs tiers where it's like, I get this thing to get the next thing to get the next thing. And it kind of has that where it's like, I got to get the fire, like the Gerudo gear, so I can go up to Death Mountain to get like the improved fire gear so that I can then go all the way up to the volcano. Stuff like that's fun. So On that note, you cook a lot in that game. And I was playing it the other day, and I was just like, you know what? These mushrooms look really good. So I went out and I bought like a bunch of mushrooms. I just made like a mushroom dish. I was like, this is good.
Good.
There's so much food in there. That's awesome.
Are you going to be cooking mushrooms on your island?
If I can find them, yeah.
How do you know those mushrooms are not toxic?
Are mushrooms usually toxic? See, again, like that's what I wish I knew.
I don't think usually they
I feel like
are.
normally things
If you
aren't
cook
toxic.
'em.
Yeah.
I think it might be maybe if you don't cook them, but I think if you cook a lot of things.
I think a lot of mushrooms are toxic.
Really? Yeah, I mean that could be. I'm
Yeah,
not an
I think that-
expert.
Because there's a reason they break down organic material.
I break down organic material though. I'm not toxic.
So I mean, like,
Our insides are.
so I would
True.
say, I would say there's probably a good amount of mushrooms that are toxic. I don't know what percentage, but I would say it's probably around. If I had to guess, about 50% of the types of mushrooms.
Okay. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Definitely fungus.
You have to see
like
the island,
straight
right?
up fungus.
Like it might not be an issue at all, or it might be like you need to eat anything possible on this island. You know, it might be like that. So take my shovel. I could go make another island and be like, "Ha, that island's fine. That island has no bear."
Where are you getting the dirt?
From the initial island.
Anything else to add?
No.
I'm not.
No. What was your? Did you have like any runner-ups?
My runner-up was a book of like knowledge, laminated specifically,
Yeah.
so it wouldn't get wet.
Well, I tried to go for like simple stuff with the construction. Also, I want to be basic. I didn't want to avoid the problem because like if you watch the original ones, this is based off of that dude did. One of the issues they have is they start to get like crazier and crazier.
Yeah.
And the first one is they have this great moment where they're saying zombie apocalypse, and that's actually where the shovel comes from. And he explains like, oh yeah, this, and I like that. And then the other dude, his final one was like, I bring a lightsaber. And he's like, oh, okay, screw it. I bring the Starship Enterprise because apparently we can just pick anything.
Yeah.
And I was trying to avoid that like escalation where once like you get crazy and crazy, it's like, well, I could bring this. Well, that means I could bring this, and just like I was trying to avoid that. I also didn't want it to be a question where it's like the other desert island question where it's like you're stuck on the desert island for the rest of your life. What's one book you bring? Like the entertainment question, I guess.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to be like that, but I also didn't want to be like bring silly stuff because even if it makes a fun combo, I want something that, like semi-serious, something like we can actually talk about. Like, no, that's wrong. I bring my bowie knife.
Yeah.
You know, I bring a tarp. I do say I think a tarp would be something I would change. So I don't know. I feel like I do like the idea of a hatchet or an axe because again, I feel like that's what I'm going to spend so much time doing, cutting wood, and just moving around dirt. Like that's one thing I feel like I can do to improve my life. And if I can cut that down from like a week to like an afternoon because I'm not using like a stick to move stuff, that's a big deal. And I think that's
See,
over
that's
time.
where I disagree. I think that's important, but I think that you're sacrificing your ability to get food, and I think that that's more important.
With the shovel?
Yeah, like with the shovel or the hatchet, it's not as easy to get food.
The question is like how
Or
long.
just, I don't think you would survive. I think you're taking a big risk on your initial on your initial survival.
She's not saying you're gonna die. She's like, I hope you die, so you're wrong. And you're like, I wish I had a tarp. I don't think it would be that bad. Assuming there's shade.
I think it would be so bad.
I think water is really the only issue I would.
I think it's
only
going to be
concern.
bad no matter what. But
Well, I don't. Well, I'm saying it's like if like say there's no shade in the island, you're just going to burn, and you're just going to die of exposure. And there's nothing you can do. Like that would suck. But if it's not that, I feel like generally you have like a good amount of time. Where if you assume, let's say nothing's trying to actively kill you, like someone might fight back, but nothing's coming for you. You have shade. You have somewhere decent for shelter. If you have those things, well then you have a fair amount of time to just do whatever you want. And I'm thinking more like that, you know, versus like literally like I need to do something within 6 hours or I am dead. Like I don't see an island as that, but it might be that.
Well, that's what it would be initially when you first get there, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. If it's deserted, I feel like there'd be
But you
some.
need to build a
literally-
fire. You need to get
Yeah.
food. You need to boil
Do
water.
you need a fire?
Well, how are you going to boil water?
I know, but I have to solve the water problem before I solve the fire problem.
No, I think you have to solve the fire problem first because the only way to solve the water problem is to boil it.
No, because I can live without a
well,
fire.
you
The
probably
fire's
don't-
convenient.
How
and
do you
easy.
How do you get clean water then?
Well, I don't even know. Yeah, that's the thing. If I have a fire, how do I get clean water if I can't find water?
If you're on an island, you can just go in the ocean.
With what?
Well, this is why I bring a pot.
So okay.
You can go and scoop it up in the ocean.
I like the
boil
idea of
it,
pot. See,
separate
I
the
wanted more
salt
answers
out.
like a pot because like that's innovative, fun.
No. If you're boiling it, how are you going to collect the water
With the
vapor?
tarp. I'm telling you, you put the tarp over the pot, like a roof.
So then it collects, condensates, and
runs
drips
down,
out.
and then you
But
collect
where's
it
that water dripping onto?
into another tarp. I'm telling you, you make little water balloons out of your tarp. Square. Bag of
Or
water.
if we're on a big enough island, you could go in like I don't know. I think a pot would be a good thing though.
You're gonna burn down the entire thing having to boil all that water. I'm gonna just keep it all reserved.
I'm not gonna-
both of you.
I don't.
Well, I won't boil water if I have like rainwater.
Yeah,
But
you don't need to boil it then.
Well, it might not be rainwater. How you have?
That's
to-
why
Where are
you
you bring the water from then?
I'm boiling the water, but I'm saying like, what happens if
No.
You don't.
How does the water get into my tarp that's not from the rain?
using boiling?
No, I'm saying how does okay?
But I'm saying how are you
have
storing your water? That was my question.
the tarp? God damn it!
But you see, every time I bring out the water balloon, you're like, look at me like
I
I'm
don't.
crazy.
I'm saying I already said I could make them into water bladders.
I think you're gonna look like a crazy person. Bunch of water bladders on the beach with your magnifying glass. Why don't you just like heat it up with a magnifying glass? I don't know. Ellie, answer me this.
yeah.
So can you only have water so your pot's getting low? Do you have to like boil water every time you want to drink it?
Not if I have rainwater, but otherwise, yeah.
What if you want to cook? Where do you cook?
In the pot.
But that's where all your water is.
Yeah.
So you just like cook raw meat and then you just save the water and then drink it after?
Well, she has a
I guess
tarp.
I'd have
She
to-
has another place to store water.
I guess that too.
Mm-hmm.
Like you wouldn't just cook the meat, then boil the water after. Boiling water doesn't take that long.
I feel like it would take a while.
It takes like 10 minutes.
To boil the entire thing though, you have to boil all the water until it is gone. Right?
Why?
Yeah.
Because you need it to go, you need it to evaporate and recollect.
Are you talking about salt water?
Only if you're boiling salt water.
Yeah, that's what I thought you're boiling.
Well, but
Because if you have rainwater, then that's already the
But
main issue
if there
pretty
was
much
some
solved.
sort of freshwater
But-
source on the
yeah.
island, then you would just need to boil it, but not all the way.
That's what I thought you were talking about.
Well, that's it. Well, I'm saying like the ultimatum was we know there's definitely an ocean, so that's why.
Right.
So that if you can do that, that's your trump
It's
card.
not ideal, but how are you going to get your fresh water?
I'm gonna boil it. You could just let it evaporate in the sun to get by at start.
No, because
Screw
you
it.
would need water
I
that,
don't
that
like
in the
that.
start. You would need all that water like during that initial time.
Also, you're saying the sun's
What
going
do
to
the animals
evaporating the
drink?
water. If you're going to have the sun evaporating the water, what's going to be over it to collect the water that's evaporated?
That's what I was trying to think because I don't have a tarp, but I don't know. I'd have to think.
Well,
about it.
also, if you have a tarp over it, then the sun's not beaming down on the water, and it's not evaporating as fast.
I don't have.
Plus,
I have to
water.
see.
I think you're very much overestimating how fast water evaporates. From
Yeah.
just
Well, I'm
You're going to
thinking
die
more
of
like-
thirst.
I'm not thinking like, oh, I'm sitting here like I need to drink that water. I'm thinking more like I'm going to build a contraption that evaporates water over several days, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to have like one little glass of water. Right?
okay. So the water evaporates and collects on this whatever that goes into another source. What stops that water from evaporating?
Cover it.
How does it have cover if something's depositing water into it actively?
It's just a hole that runs into a sealed container, my little reservoir. Honestly, though, I would just drink water off the ground. That's honestly my answer. Squirrel, I'm gonna watch Squirrel. Squirrel, what do you drink? I'm gonna go drink that. Don't care. Honestly, I don't think I would care.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't.
I think I
When
plan
you-
on being sick most
When
of the time.
you die of
Realistically.
dysentery, we'll be laughing.
How realistically, how long do you think that you would last? I think that I would
don't-
last. Honestly,
I feel like that's a loaded question because it's like I only need to survive like the first week and then I'm set.
not necessarily.
Yeah. Once I had that establishment, I have the tools to then improve.
What if you get hurt?
What if you get hurt?
Then I'll probably die.
Yeah, and then I'll probably
But
die.
So, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. How long do you realistically think that you would last before you would get hurt or injured or just die of some illness?
Have you guys ever seen the movie Castaway?
No, I'm
Yes.
not.
That's a movie where a guy
got
gets
Bill Murray
hurt
in it.
all. I forgot about that. Tom Hanks.
Yeah. Castaway's a good movie.
Yeah, but like that's a movie like he beats himself the fuck up a lot.
Yeah.
Because that's how he gets Wilson.
That's a good one. What would you do? He gets a toothache. He's got to knock it out. Could you do that?
Does he use a rock?
He uses an ice skate.
That's right.
And he like blacks out. Yeah. That would be tough.
I think it's one of those things I could never say it until I was in that situation.
No, I feel like
know?
that's a lot of these.
It would really test you. To be honest, I don't know. I don't want to get dark, but like after a while, like if you were there for like several months and no one ever came and rescued you, I don't know. I might just kill myself.
I thought about doing like a joke answer, like, "What do you bring?" I bring a gun and 2 bullets, or something like that.
I mean, I don't know. I don't want
Why
to live
2
the rest of
bullets?
my life on like an island by
Exactly, I
myself.
bring 3 things
Oh,
to shoot Toby twice. But yeah, I feel like that would be dark. I don't know. I feel like I would be okay living on an island. Like it's just
I think you'd be okay at first, but I think after a while, the loneliness, like I think you would start to go insane.
yeah. I feel like you'd kind of enjoy it though, and you're insane. Like there's no issue being insane.
Yeah,
on
but
an
I think
island.
also you'd be in so much pain. Like you'd have so many injuries. You'd have like aches. You'd have, I don't know. To be honest, I feel like after a while, I might put myself out of my misery.
no,
After like 6 months.
no,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it depends on how you're insane. If you're insane because you're lonely, humans are a very social species, and if you are just alone, I think you just psychologically just start shutting down. Like if you cannot get like that's why Wilson was such a big thing in Castaways. He needed to have a surrogate thing to interact with.
But would you not do that? I would totally do the Wilson thing. I feel like I would just start
Yeah,
talking to
but that's
myself
not-
almost immediately.
That's not a cure though for your insanity.
Yeah,
It's a Band-Aid.
Yeah, but it's not a cure. Eventually, you're just going to get worse and worse.
But why is that an issue? Like, if it gets to the point where I'm so insane I can't take care of myself, I no longer... I feel like then I'm no longer coherent enough that it matters. If that makes sense? Like, I'm so far gone, it's just like, well, I might as well...
Yeah, but I bet you'd be in a lot of pain though during that time.
I think I'm going to be in pain constantly on the island, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So,
but not physical pain in this case, psychological pain.
yes. Psychological pain. Oh. We were talking about Castaway. One of my favorite posts on Reddit someone ever had was he was talking about how his favorite pastime was his dad would always fall asleep during movies. So whenever they'd watch a movie, he'd find another one with the same actor and he'd switch the movies when his dad fell asleep and he would like record himself waking his dad up. So they watch like Forrest Gump and it's a clip of him switching it to Castaway and like, man, this dude's life sucked. Like you go to the first half of the movie and now he's stuck on an island. And his dad's like, what?
Like this is the first time you've seen either of the movies?
Yeah. So he's just like, yeah, it just goes from like Forrest Gump to the Castaway.
When did he suddenly get not mentally retarded?
I know, it's crazy. Well, that's how I would answer. It's like, I don't know, yeah. And you just like make up a story about how this dude got there. Yeah, he was going to go see Jenny and the ship crashed.
He was on the fishing boat.
Yeah. Yeah, see, it's an easy way. When it's like, it was just like these nice clips of him doing it with all these really, really crazy movies. Like, he'd be like, oh, I don't know, like, oh, we're watching, this might be a bad example, but like we're watching Zombieland, and then apparently now there's ghosts, and they're fighting, Bill Murray's fighting ghosts. Obviously, you would recognize that one, but it's just like crazy jumps like that. It was really funny.
A better movie, if you're saying he was watching Forrest Gump, would you go from Forrest Gump to Apollo 13?
That would be great.
Because
Especially if you
it's
get
got
fun.
Gary Sinise
Yeah.
and Tom Hanks.
That'd be great if you could keep it going, where you like make the jump Forrest Gump to Castaway, and then like, oh yeah, he came back and he was a whole hero, so they sent him to space. No, he crash landed on his way back down, and he landed on the island.
And it goes into Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, I love that idea because like immediately your mind goes to like all the movies you could do to like do all that, like these weird crossovers, and you're just, like, yeah, can you imagine waking up and like honestly like, what is happening in this movie? So I always love that. It's like one of my favorite posts on Reddit I ever said. It's always stuck with me. It's been reminding me of a lot. All right, so we're at time. So what do you guys think? Good or bad? How would you rate it?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I think we would do the best. You might survive.
I think I would survive. I think honestly,
I don't think you
anyone.
would.
I think anyone could survive.
I don't think you would survive
What?
the initial part.
I think if you, as long as you like, get on the island, it can find some water and some food generally without anything. I think in the moment anyone really could survive past that generally. Like I think really most of it's probably completely out of your hands. Like there either is enough food and water or there isn't. And once you can get over that barrier, then I feel like it's just time. Like I don't know what I would build, but I'm sure you just figure out stuff. You know, you'd make it work. And I think it's whether or not you live is not necessarily your skill, unless you're on real edge case scenarios. It's just more of how good is your life after that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It would suck though. So, you guys want to take a cruise after this? Just like oh, we're really crash on that island.
I know.
I do
I
wish.
hate the ocean. If I can avoid the ocean, I will avoid the ocean. The ocean is fucking dope. Like, it is not. Don't fuck with the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
No, nothing good comes from the ocean. Okay. There are things that try to kill you. You can't drink it. The worst storms come from the ocean.
That's true. All that rainwater.
The ocean is not. I'm not a fan of the ocean. Like, there are more things that try to kill you in the ocean than Australia. And it's surrounded by the ocean.
Everything's surrounded by the ocean, isn't it? Go out far enough.
If you go out far enough, but like, there are countries you can be that are miles and miles and miles away from the ocean. But that entire country is surrounded by the ocean.
Mm-hmm. I see what you're saying. Yeah, we're at time. I'm gonna edit all this. This is super long, but this is fun.
Yeah.
I thought it went pretty well. I was afraid like we were gonna get out and everyone's gonna pick like really boring answers, or we're like, yeah, that makes sense. And there's gonna be like just like nothing. That's what I was afraid of. We're all like, I bring a knife. Oh, I also brought a knife. I also brought a knife. I'm glad we all agreed. That's what I thought was going to happen.
Well,
know?
2 people basically brought a knife. The other person did not.
If we do it again, oh, okay, screw you. If we did it again, I would have picked like more specifics because I feel like that's the thing where it's like if you say like this is the island, you are on that island. What would you pick? That would help a lot.
Yeah.
I think. Also, just like other stuff, like maybe a time or like more of a scenario, like you're on it for this long. You know, because I think that's the thing I see was like if you're
It's like
there,
you have
for,
to
like,
survive for this long and then you get rescued.
yeah, if you're there like 80 years, that's a little why I want the long play. Not that it matters. When I'm freaking 80, I'm gonna die. I'm probably sure I'm not gonna be doing anything with that shovel. You know,
I even if you figure out how to be successful, I doubt you'd make it to 80 anyway.
yeah. Or any time in general, like in real life, right now. Like you think I'm not gonna live to 80 and right now?
No, I'm saying on an island without pharmaceutical help, without a bunch of different types of things, I'm pretty sure most people would not make it to 80.
I know. It just came across like really talking like I'm talking like outside the island. It was like whoa, I'm insulted. But it was fun.
You specifically, you, the general you,
Just the general you, the royal you.
the FU.
If you, yes.
Okay.
So anyway, we're at time. I'm going to spend so much time editing this. So this has been podcast Digression Bar 23. Not 23, 33. I can never get the numbers right.
Think right over there, Jack.
That's true. I just need to consult it. I need a big sign that's like 33. When we need to 54, I'm going to totally make that joke.
54.
All right. So we're at time. So I'm Grant.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Ellie.
So I guess if you have better options, put them in the comments than what we did. I feel like there's probably a good answer if you think about it. I bet there's like some answer that's just like.
I bet if you
Like
had
the
a
pie.
ton of survival knowledge, there'd be better answers.
I feel like the biggest thing is you'd want to bring something like plastic. Like not because it's plastic, but something like that where you can't make it, it's never going to break, it's sterile, something like that kind of thing. Whatever.
Plastic's never going to break.
Well, it depends on what it's used for. I don't know what. But that's my whole idea with like the canteen. You know, it's like, I mean, it could break, but in a normal use it
Right.
wouldn't. But also, I can't necessarily ever make something that sterilely holds water. So I think it'd be something like that. Whereas, like, you could bring a weapon, but you could always eventually make a weapon. So I feel like it must be something like that where, like, there's no way to get this thing, and it is a serious factor.
You're going to hate yourself.
Why?
'Cause we keep talking.
I know, I keep doing it, but it's fine. It's fine. Well, I have more things to say.
Okay.
I picked this topic because I knew there was going to be things we wanted to say about it.
Yes.
Like very specific. We might do it again. I don't know. I don't want to make this like the hypothetical podcast. I don't want to be the whole thing, but I do know it's like I want to have more podcasts where it's like, here's the thing. We're gonna talk about this thing because then once you go, you go. Like we snowball well, but we don't start.
Well,
strong.
the thing is about these podcasts, they're not very. I feel like they're not very.
On track. We digress.
Also that, but I feel like they're not time framed. Like they're not pertinent to like current events necessarily. So theoretically, you could just do a bunch of them and just release them whenever.
You could, but I feel like
I'll release the next one in 2 months.
you could. I'm not against that. It's just I think you can usually tell like time progressions and stuff because you'll talk about like side stuff.
Well, you
Like-
can announce it like in the beginning, like this was filmed.
I know I
Somewhere.
could. It just seems like a lot of extra work because then I have to get ahead. I'm already pushing it back to Monday because I'm bad at doing stuff. But yeah, I'm not against it. Like I like the idea of that, especially like get ahead. Like I like the idea of like, oh, Ellie's in town. Let me film a bunch with her, but not make it where it's just me and her for 5 weeks.
Yeah.
We can like space that out. I know it would be fun. Anyway, it's time. I got to cut it. So we'll be back again 2 weeks on Monday. Bye.
Bye.
That was a good one.